I told you I would eat my crow. I told you if I was wrong about this weekend, I would eat my crow. And I was happily wrong about the series against South Carolina. But there's a bigger picture we got to talk about today when it comes to this LSU baseball team and the road ahead to get to that 13 win mark that I laid out a few weeks ago. It was a good showing, and I'll not make excuses. But I will admit, I did not see the pitching working out the way it did over the weekend. I did not see the depth or the lack of need of depth from this LSU baseball pitching staff over the weekend against South Carolina. South Carolina, no, is not a good team. They are not a good team. And a lot of people in the national news, even in the local news, are saying, well, yeah, LSU swept South Carolina, but South Carolina's not a good team. And they're right. They're not. But it's still an SEC baseball team, in my opinion. They can still beat most of the country. And it's a good series win. It's always good to sweep an SEC team when you can. So I'm eating my crow. I said you would go 1 for 3 against South Carolina. I was wrong. I have in the deep fry right now, because a crow probably tastes better when it's deep fried. Today we're going to talk about some of the reasons I believe your team has somewhat, I'll say, turned it around since the beginning of Mississippi State series. Somewhat turned it around. It's last thing I want all of you to do is to see this series sweep. I know we're excited. I know we're happy about it. You should be. It's a big moment for this season for us, but don't get ahead of yourself. I've seen a lot of people now saying, oh, we can take 2 or 3 from Georgia. Oh, we can sweep Florida. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Those two teams are very different from South Carolina. Very different. But I want to talk about the things that I believe have made this change. And one of my good buddies, Zach Nunez, brought up last night on Go Deep Dive, the core 4. We're going to talk about the core 4 today, even though I'm not a Yankees fan. And I will never. No, not a Yankees fan. But before we get to that, I want to talk about some things happening around this team and in the media landscape that still bothers me to my core. I want to thank Miss Daily Joy for coming out and spending some time with us on Thursday. That was an amazing show. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I promise you it's worth the time. It was the longest show we ever done because Daly is just an awesome person, awesome fan. If you don't follow her, please do. If you haven't picked up an SEC Pretty hat, that's the petty one. I know those are limited time. I don't think she has any more. But if you haven't picked up SEC Pretty hat, Kramer Robertson wears one. You can wear one, guys. It's all good. She's not making SEC handsome ones, though. It's not happening. Found out why. Go watch the show to figure out why she's not making that. And Daily Joy is one of the best examples I can make of LSU fan base or people on social media who people look at and really kind of not drive opinions from, but they look at their opinions. And Daly said herself on the show, sometimes she can get a little out there with them, but she admits them. But one thing she never does is ridicule and drive on the kid. She critiques the game. She critiques the game play. I've told y'all from the first show who you subscribe to, who you follow, who you watch. Even though you may not be spending money, you're still using your dollar because of algorithms and follower counts and all that jazz. Whenever somebody who played college baseball decides to illuminate the people or a comment section and write out, say, this comment section is brutal and laughing emojis, it's wrong. It's wrong. if the tables were turned and people were pointing at you and ridiculing you, you wouldn't enjoy that. And to tell me the kid doesn't care, it's not true. It's not true. And the people who are in that comment section, shame on you. Shame on you. It makes no sense to go there and bash a kid, no matter how he's playing, if he's playing, where he's playing. Makes no sense. Shame on you. We can be better as people, not even just a fan base, people. If people would just turn around and change the way they act for 10% of their time online or in life, the world would be so much of a better place. I don't care if you think a guy's a bust or you think a guy didn't live up to the potential. He came here and he tried. He wore the purple and gold you care about so much. Do you want to taint that in the eyes of recruits? Transfers? Do you want a conversation with Jay Johnson or Nate Yeske or Josh Jordan to be, yeah, coach, I'd love to come to LSU, but I don't know, I believe I'll do well, but if I don't, I'm going to get killed. Or would you rather the conversation be, you know what, coach, I'd love to come to LSU. That fan base loves their players and they support their players and they look out for their players. Which one would you rather be? I know we talked, me and Daly, and I put the short out and all that jazz about the villain era. Yeah. You can have your villain era and not be the worst person in the world. The villain era doesn't consume hating on kids. And I know I had one person say on one of the shorts that when these kids are cashing 6 to 7 figure checks, I'm sorry, bud, they're not. They're not. I'll put my mortgage on it. They're not. This isn't football. This is baseball. The money's different. It still doesn't give you a right, though. How about we turn the table and we start looking at all of you who cash or collect 6 to 7 figures a year in your career field? Start judging your everyday performance. Are you giving 100% every day? Let's take a reflection. Let's sit back and let's look at how we've acted this year. Because the way you act online doesn't just affect the players, it affects the coaches, it affects the coaches' spouses, it affects the coaches' families, their children. You all want to jump on Ole Miss fans for jumping on Cookie, for jumping on Landry, for jumping on Miss Layla, for jumping on all these guys around Lane Kiffin, but yet you want to jump on your own guys. How does that look? I know y'all are better than this. Look at when natural disasters happen in the state. Look at how we come around and we supported Jay Johnson. Y'all have it in you. You get lost in your ways sometimes, and I get it. I totally get it. Think before you type, or better yet, think before you hit send. Go ahead, get in your notes app. Write out the crazy stuff you want to say in your notes app. Or if you're somebody who has an Android phone, you can do better. Get in your notes app and type out the crazy things you want to say. Then don't post it. I'm not asking you to turn around and pump sunshine. I'm not going to pump sunshine. We're going to talk about good things today, but I'm also going to highlight the bad because we have to be realistic. But I know you can do better. It's that simple. Lift these guys up. Because you say what you want about that kid who everybody decided to drive on. He may come up with an at-bat and an opportunity to help you get further or get further along than you probably should, or get to where you want to be. Jay Johnson still has him dressing out for a reason, guys. Just think before you speak. Just think before you speak. And everything in life will be so much better. I promise you. All right. We're going to get to a quick break. We're going to talk about, when we get back from the break, the South Carolina weekend, some key points that I see that were amazing since Mississippi State series. And really highlight the weekend against South Carolina. Talk about the upcoming series against Georgia, the game against Tulane and Florida, and what you should expect from that, or your mindset going into those games could or should be. And we're getting some other news surrounding LSU. Take a quick break.
John 16:33, Jesus says, I've told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart because I've overcome the world. Like, that truth that Jesus won is so powerful, so significant in our lives if we fully trust and fully surrender to that promise. Like, no matter what we're going to face, no matter what stress, no matter what challenges, no matter what anxiety, like, Jesus promises peace, and he reminds us that all of the sin, the fear, the doubt, the shame, like, he overcame it all. He paid the price for your sin and mine when he went to that cross. He died a death that we deserve. He went into the grave. He didn't stay there. 3 days later, he rose from the grave, and the promise is true that he's coming back someday. So the power and the significance of that verse is now in a 2-word phrase that's on a t-shirt, on a hat, on a hoodie, and simply said, Jesus won.
Even in the valley of the shadow of death, I can take rest, cause the living God is living in my chest. Every day I wake up feeling blessed, and even if I don't, I see it as a test.
Join me and your favorite players by expressing your faith and assisting local ministries. Use code WalkItOffTalk for 20% off your orders at JesusOneApparel.com. 15% of your purchase will support local ministries like the LSU FCA. That is code WalkItOffTalk for 20% off. Jesus One. In South Louisiana, there's nothing we love more than God, family, sports, and food. For your next get-together, make sure you contact Lemme Sourdough Bakery. Whether you're gathering with friends and family for the big game or surrounding yourself with loved ones for a Sunday dinner, let Lemme Sourdough Bakery provide what you need to make it that much more special. Lemme Sourdough Bakery is a small batch, all organic bakery right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Go take a look at what's being mixed up in the kitchen next, as well as place your orders on Instagram at Lemme Sourdough Bakery. Don't forget to pick up your regular sourdough loaves, your jalapeno cheddar loaves, cookies for those late night snacks, and cinnamon rolls for those early morning cravings. Lemme Sourdough Bakery, where the first ingredients in anything made is love. Lemme Sourdough Bakery. So I just found something out real quick about Jesus One Apparel, and I wanted to share it with you guys because, like I've told you guys, I don't make a dime from them. Everything that is made from the code Walk It Off Talk, it gives you 20% off, by the way. Still waiting to hear the numbers on how many hoodies we sold. I'm hoping there was enough that we can get those hoodies back on the website, because I'd love to have them on the website because I think those things are awesome. But Jesus One Apparel has raised over $500,000 for local ministries. And think about that. So the hoodie was $30. All right, 20% off, put you at $24. 15% of that went to local ministries. So they took 35% off the top right away. So they're operating, if you use a coupon code, at 65%. And now that 65%, you have to pay for materials, everything to be done on the clothes, on the hats, on the band's production side. So they're doing really good things over there at Jesus One Apparel. I don't know how long they've been around. I probably should know that. But if y'all can, go buy a wristband, go buy a t-shirt, go buy a hoodie, go buy a hat. I'm telling y'all, the actual apparel is amazing to wear. I'm not wearing the hoodie or anything today. I wore everything this weekend, so it has to be washed. The hat's great. I love it. They did a if you're a Red Sox fan, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a big ambassador. They did a partnership with Vincer or a collaboration with Vincer, and that's what I got here. Little Vincer bracelets they did in a collaboration. That's really good stuff too. I forget the guy's name. He's all tatted up for the Red Sox. But anyways, they're doing great things over at Jesus One. Support them. Me Sourdough Bakery. I don't even tell you how good it is. Everybody else tells you how good it is. They let me know that Jared, our buddy Coyote operator, made his order for this upcoming weekend. Go to their Instagram, place your order for the upcoming drop. All right. Let's get into the South Carolina slate of games. You swept. You swept the South Carolina Gamecocks, and none of the games truly felt out of hand for the Tigers. Like I told you, I saw you going 1 of 3 against South Carolina. The reason I had that was the pitching. I didn't believe Case Evans was going to pitch. I didn't know who was going to fill the role. If they were going to move Schmitty to Friday, which they did, who's going to fill the role on Saturday or game 2 in this instance. And the game 3 starter has been in flux. Seeing Zach Cowan get the game 3 start. Oh, I've been begging for Zach Cowan to get the game 3 start since before the season started. I called it. Granted, we had Cooper Moore and William Schmidt behind Case and Evans. Trust me, I wasn't mad at that rotation. I cannot wait to see that rotation next year. But I said preseason, if any injuries happen, I'd like to see Zach Cowan in that Sunday role. Well, we're going to get to Zach Cowan and his Sunday role in a minute, but it was amazing. So we're going to talk about pitching first. So over the weekend, I think you used a total of 7 pitchers. 7 pitchers. I didn't write all of them down. I know Guidry through Sunday. Sheeran, I believe, through Saturday night. Santi came in. Who else pitched? I believe Grant Fondo pitched. So, sorry I didn't write everything down, guys. And I was working, as y'all saw on Pick to Click yesterday. Game 1, Saturday morning, not Friday night. Schmitty came out, and he put up a performance he needed. He threw 6 innings. Second time this year he's gotten to the 6th inning, and I love to see it. He gave up 8 hits, 5 earned runs, but he gave up 6 runs, 5 earned runs. He had 4 walks and 3 Ks. Not the line you think you'd see from a normal William Schmidt start. I usually pencil him for 6 to 7 Ks, maybe 4 to 5 walks, but I don't see him giving up 8 hits a lot. I always think about Schmitty around the 5-hit mark, but he gave you what you needed. He kept you in the ball game. And South Carolina came out that Saturday morning, like I told you they would, smelling blood and wanted to get their win. And they hit the ball around. Schmitty had a great performance. Everybody wanted the Friday start. Well, you got it. And unless Kaysen comes back this week, which I'm still 50-50 on whether or not Kaysen throws this weekend. I'd love to see him against Georgia. I think we need him. But at the same time, Jay is going to put bubble wrap around Kaysen as much as he can. He knows how important he is for next year. And not saying Jay is punting on the year, but also for his future and his career in baseball, there's no point in putting that kid out there. And there's a chance for injury, especially after the performances you saw this weekend with Paz and Cowan. Schmidt's doing his job. If we had Schmidt in the Friday night role the whole year, I think this year is a lot different, not in the better way. He's a sophomore. Give him time. Let him be a Friday night guy on Saturday next year. Think about that. Think of it if you have 2 aces. We've seen it before. Anthony Ianson and Cade Anderson, who Anthony Ianson just got called up to Double-A. Much deserved. Much deserved. Just got called up to Double-A with the Red Sox. I think that's Pawtucket. The Pawtucket Red Sox. But good outing for William Schmidt on Saturday morning. Game 2, Paz. Now, I was wrong. I thought all 3 pitchers pitched through the 6th. I know Paz got into the 6th, but he didn't record an out. in the sixth. So he got through 5 innings of pitch. He only gave up 1 hit, 1 earned run. He had 3 walks and 8 Ks. 5 innings of 1 hit baseball. You're going to do fine. Now, I believe the 3 walks came. Well, I think one of them came in the 6th when he was in there. But anyways, amazing job on Marcos Paz. Amazing job on Marcos Paz. Guys, he's a freshman. Everybody wanted to give Jay Johnson grief about not Marcos Paz. Jay Johnson grief about the transfer portal and not recruiting the right guys. He doesn't have enough guys from Louisiana. He doesn't have this. He doesn't have that. Well, I think Marcos Paz just showed you that Jay Johnson knows what he's looking for. The biggest opportunity of the year for Marcos Paz, and he delivered. He didn't just deliver, he shoved. Atta baby Marcos Paz. And on Sunday, I have to bring this up, your SEC pitcher of the week. Yeah, that's right. He won 2 games this week because he earned the win against Southeastern on Tuesday. Look at this line. I know on Sunday, Cowan threw 6 innings. He gave up 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and he had 7 Ks. So against Southeastern, he gave up 2 hits, gave up 1 walk, and he had 7 Ks. And only 5 innings pitched. No, 4 innings pitched. I apologize. I'm bad at math. Thank you, Zach Cowan, for making me right. Thank you so much. I love seeing Cowan in the golds. I know earlier this year I said it would make my heart tingle to see Guidry in golds, and it does. I believe Zach Cowan has the stuff to be a starting pitcher. I need to go look at his – I wish I could talk to Cowan. I need to go look at his changeup. It looks like he has kind of like a little spike on that changeup, like almost like a knuckle change. That thing is filthy, and it was working, and his slider was working. I know at the beginning of the year, Cowan came out, and he wasn't the Cowan we expected or the growth we expected at the beginning of the year. I think after the season, we'll probably learn some things that maybe certain things weren't right. I don't know. I'm speculating. There's no information behind this. But once Zach got it right, he got it right. Atta baby Zach Cowan. 6 innings pitch, a 2-hit baseball. Marcos Paz, 5 innings pitch, a 1-hit baseball. That's what won you this weekend. Those 2 guys going out there giving up a combined 3 hits and 1 run, 4 walks, and having 15 Ks. All right. If I'd have told you this weekend your starting pitchers were going to throw 18 strikeouts, you'd have told me Schmidt probably had 9 or 10. Schmidt had 3. And that's not a dig on Schmidt. He did what he needed to do. He did his job. Not digging on him. He did his job. You wouldn't expected Paz and Cowan to have you 15. Is Cowan sneaky turning into a strikeout pitcher? Someone got to look at. Atta baby to the starting rotation this weekend. They stepped up and stepped up big. They're going to need to keep that energy going into Georgia this weekend. You still got to get past Tulane. But to go through your weekend and use 7 pitchers, I believe Jason Armstrong had a gif of available pitchers for LSU, and it was like the long scroll falling down. They did what they needed to do, and they're making me eat crow. Like I said, it's in the deep fryer in the kitchen. I'm going to eat my crow later. Anything fried is better than not fried. Now I want to get to the core 4. But to highlight the core 4, before we get into the full numbers of it, I want to highlight, which I think is one of the biggest not talked about changes to this lineup that isn't really being focused on. I know Zach Nunez and David Billiop Go D-Dive kind of touched on it, but I did some numbers. Mason Braun, the freshman. Mason Braun got inserted into the leadoff role consistently in Game 2 of the Mississippi State series. I went back, looked at all the box scores and all the lines, and it's consistently since the Game 2 of the Mississippi State series that Mason Braun has been in the leadoff role. And in that role, right now, he is batting. Well, he's 8 for 20, so that would be 400. with an 800 OBP, on base percentage. He has a home run, a triple, 5 RBIs, 8 walks, and 3 Ks. So let's think about that. He's 8 for 20 in hits. He has 8 walks. Means he's on base 16 out of the 20 times. He gets on base, just like how Jay said. Billy Bean was right. He gets on base. And he's only struck out 3 times in that whole span. 3 strikeouts. That is one of the wrinkles to this lineup that is something that is much needed. I know everyone talked about the strikeouts. Everybody talked about swinging for the fences. I believe this lineup's been freed up a little bit. You see a lot more guys going after first pitch. You have a lot more of aggressive and competitive at-bats instead of kind of letting that bat come to you. You're kind of taking control of the at-bat. At least that's how it was against South Carolina. I hope that continues against Georgia. But Mason Braun is doing great things at the top of the plate. Now, yeah, he's had some games that weren't spectacular. But he it looks like he hasn't he went hitless one game. He went hitless one game. Still got on base 2 times. The game he went hitless with a strikeout, he had 2 walks. So even if he's not getting on base through the hit, he's still earning walks and getting on base and giving you a chance to drive him in. Now, I went back and looked through all the stats. I didn't write down this, but I think he has at least scored 1 run in each of the games he's been at leadoff. I think aside from 1. He's batted leadoff 6 straight games, scored in every single one aside from 1. Him at leadoff he has the composure in a freshman that I didn't see happening, especially with Mason Braun. He was good at the beginning of the year. I liked Braun, but I think it was a fire hose at the time, a fire hose of competition from a guy like Mason Braun, and he was adjusting to it. Later in the year, he's a little more comfortable, a little more confident, and he's taking advantage of that role. Let's talk about the core 4. And who's my core 4? It's the freshmen. Omar Cerna, Mason Braun, Jack Ruckert, William Patrick. William Patrick, by the way, he's groovy, baby. As a whole, since the Mississippi State series, I did all 3 games of the Mississippi State series. I did this weekend, and I did the Southeastern game because I wanted to incorporate William Patrick because his first real starting role came in the SEC with Jake Brown's injury. As a whole, your core 4 are batting .346. They're batting .346. They're 37 of 107. They have 13 walks. They've counted together for 24 RBIs, 4 doubles, a triple by Mason Braun, 5 homers. Yes, Braun is doing the heavy lifting in the homers. They've only struck out 18 times. If you combine the on base, the walks with the hits, they are 50 of 107 combined. This freshman class, y'all keep on to talk about Jay not knowing how to recruit, not bringing the right guys in. So you still want to say that? Maybe it's time for some people in the media to eat crow like I am today. And a lot of the heavy lifting, I'll be honest, is Omar Cerna and Mason Braun. I would expect that. Omar Cerna and Mason Braun have had more at-bats this year, especially in SEC play. Jack Ruckert and William Patrick are late season additions due to injuries and performance from other players. So, yeah, I would expect Omar Cerna and Mason Braun to be carrying the heavy lifting. I wish I'd have wrote down the numbers to the hitting streaks. I think even Milam's on like a 15-game hitting streak right now. Quietly. Oh, yeah, Milam. Let's go to the side real quick. Anybody want to call Stephen Milam overrated anymore? Is 290 good enough for a batting average right now? 1 error on the season. Hitting 290. 15-game hitting streak. Anybody want to call Stephen Milam overrated anymore? Some people, man, I tell you. This core 4 is coming back. I'm not worried about Omar Cerna hitting the portal, or Aaron Beatty, for that matter. Aaron Beatty, who's tearing the cover off of the ball, sophomore. Really, since the Tennessee series, has just been in fuego, been nuts. How well he's hitting the ball, how well he's seeing the ball. And let's talk about prior to the Tennessee series. Now I know we lost 3 straight series. I get it. They're all competitive series, though. That's why, and it really wasn't anything that was just blowouts. And I was talking to David Billiot about this. He was texting me. He's like, think about if, some series went a different way. And I kind of highlighted the Oklahoma series and the Vanderbilt series. If those kind of went a different way, you won 2 out of 3 in each of those, which you had a chance in both to do. How much of a different position you're in right now? Because right now, if I'm not mistaken, I had it pulled up earlier. Let me see. I don't have it right now, but I'll pull it up in a minute. If you have those wins, so like right now, say you win one more of each of those series, you win those series, you're now 11-13 in SEC play. You're still below 500, and you're 30-19. And you have a lot better road getting to the postseason than you would have at 9-15 and 28-21. I think this team I'll take some blame in that, but everybody in the media, in the podcast realm, in the social media realm, were rightfully so high on this team with the transfers they brought in and the potential that was there, and it just didn't work. And I think what happened is, when they saw it slipping after the first 8 games of the year, it kind of compounded pressure on top of them. Now, to be completely honest with you, since the A&M series, it's more like, what do we have to lose? And they're playing freely, and they're playing great baseball. They're playing sound baseball. They're not doing things, aside from Stephen Milam, outrageously great. They're just playing consistent, good baseball, and that's really all you need. They're driving, like this weekend, seeing the lineup going backside and driving guys in for third base with less than 2 outs. I believe it was the first inning of the first Saturday game. Every hit in that first inning was backside. When I say backside, I mean opposite field of where the batter stands. So for people who don't know, right-handed batter hit the ball to right field. Left-handed batter hit the ball to left field. That's probably still confusing because of baseball terminology. But they're doing things that are just simple, fundamental baseball. And you can hear Jay in his interviews talk about how they're doing the little things right. They're having competitive at-bats. And they're taking what's given to them, shown by driving the ball the other way. Now, as a series, over the series of the South Carolina series, you only batted .301, but you only struck out 18 times in 103 at-bats. Now, you had 13 walks. I'd like to see that walk-K ratio kind of flip, but you did what you needed to do. And you didn't really have strikeouts in big moments where you needed the base hit or you needed to drive a run in. You didn't fail in those moments. A lot of times, guys stepped up. William Patrick stepped up. Mason Braun stepped up. Omar Cerna doesn't have to step up. He's up there. Jack Ruckert making plays in the infield. Anybody want to go hate on Jack Ruckert some more? I didn't think so. And you still have guys on the bench that people are clamoring for to get in the field. Now, I'm happy to see Steph Dardar out in the field again. Everyone knows Dardar's my guy. I still worry about his ankle. I hope he doesn't play tomorrow night on Tuesday. I hope he takes a rest day, gets off of it, because Steph Dardar's bat is something we need in the lineup because it's going to add a little more pop to it, right? Losing Jake Brown from the lineup, that was a lot of power. Now, Omar Cerna has stepped up. Cade Aaron Beatty has stepped up. Curiel is hitting with more power right now. Stephen Milam is hitting the ball hard. Steph Dardar has game-changing power at the plate, in my opinion. You can disagree with me all you want. I don't care. I really truly believe in 2-4, and I want him healthy for these SEC series coming up and the SEC tournament. The core four, though, these freshmen. Not to put pressure on them for next year already, but think about the experience they're getting right now, especially coming into this later half of the SEC schedule where you're facing teams like A&M, Georgia, and Florida. Yes, I left South Carolina out. They're not a top-tier team. Georgia is one of the best teams in the country, if not the best team in the country right now. It's going to be really, really, really hard to get a series win against Georgia. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Florida, a great team in the country, a great team. And they're loaded with talent, and they have great pitching. It's going to be very hard to get a series win against Florida. This team doesn't care where you are right now. They're going to come out there and going to play their game. That's what's given this team a chance. Not to mention, when you get into the SEC schedule, well, the SEC tournament, you're not going to be in the driver's seat of having a chance of winning that tournament. And you're going to need some wins in the SEC tournament to get you in the postseason. These kids are getting valuable experience in the SEC schedule, and a tough part of it to drive them into next year, right? And let's talk about this. Everyone would want to talk about how this team didn't fight. This team quit. This team wasn't given any effort. They laid down. They had no fight in them. What do you want to say now? What do you want to say now? This team has nothing but fight in them. This team has nothing but fight in them. Nothing but it. And these young guys are showing you how much they want to fight. Just seeing them legging out balls on the infield, getting infield base hits, taking extra bases when you can. All this talk about no fight, no care, all they want to do is hit home runs, shove it. Let it go. Makes no sense. These kids are getting valuable experience. These kids are going to be, and going in next year, everyone had Omaha. I remember seeing tweets beginning of the year, Omaha or bust. I'm already making my reservations for Omaha. This, that. Does this team have a chance of getting to Omaha? Yeah, I guess. They got to make the postseason first. But once you get in the dance, anything can happen. And Michael Butel was one of the guys who said it clearly this weekend. It looks like LSU is getting their swagger back. I hope that's true. Don't say Jay is quitting. That call at home plate, and I'm going to give my opinion on that call at home plate with Derek Curiel. Just real quick. It's funny. I made a comp with Derek Curiel to a young Alex Rodriguez. At the beginning of the year, with his body type, the way he kind of put on some muscle and his frame, really reminded me of a young Alex Rodriguez. The call at home plate is being compared to the Alex Rodriguez play at first against the Red Sox, where he blatantly slaps the ball out of the glove. Go back and watch the Derek Curiel slide at home. If anything, he's up, trying to reach over the catcher to get to home plate, which he is allowed to do. Not to mention, the ball was already coming out of the catcher's mitt before Curiel touched him. So, yeah, Jay lost his mind. And the funny thing is that clip of Jay in the dugout on the top step where he does that into the player on the infield. He's telling the umpire, I'm on the top step. What? I'm on the top step. You can't do anything to me. I'm rooting on my guys. Hey, come on, let's go. And I think Jake Brown got ejected, which is I need to get that verified. I think Jake Brown got ejected, which you think Jake Brown has quit? Kid's out. Kid's out with a hamate bone. He just had hamate bone surgery. And I promise you one thing, I haven't talked to Jake or his dad or anybody. I promise you Jake's doing everything he can to get back in the lineup to help this team win because he doesn't want his college career to end. Y'all talk about these kids quitting and not people, and it's less of it this weekend because they won. I get it, but it just still bothers me because y'all have these ideas of these kids, and right here, text messages don't die. You have guys out there in pain. And I'm going to quote somebody. I'm not going to tell you who it was. I'm up there because I feel like I only have so many at-bats left, and I don't want to give up. So take that quitting crap and just shove it. I'm so sick and tired of it. Going into, you have Tulane Tuesday, and you're going to have a lot of pitchers who need to throw, so you expect a lot of guys Tuesday like you always do. For some reason, I have a feel like Jaden New's going to get the ball to start Tuesday. Some people talked about giving Casey Evans the ball. No, you're not going to do that with Evans. He shouldn't throw on Tuesday, in my opinion. He needs to do bullpen work and flat ground work to make sure he's feeling comfortable and he doesn't have any pain or anything of that nature. Because, like I told y'all, Jay's going to bubble wrap him, as he should if he needs to. Tulane's not a bad team. They had the highlight go out earlier this year of them basically just bunt, driving in runs. And I saw LSU fans clamoring for, can we please bunt more? Tulane's a good team. They play fundamental baseball. They will fundamental baseball you to death. It's going to take a lot of pressure on the infield and behind the plate to take the outs when you get them. Tulane's going to move runners over. They're going to drive runners in from third with less than 2 outs. And it's probably going to be higher scoring than you would imagine just because we're going to be moving so many guys in and out off the mound. So just tomorrow night's going to – hopefully it's a easy night, but don't expect it. Georgia, then Florida. Like I said earlier, it's going to be a tough road to hoe when it comes to getting into the postseason facing Georgia and Florida. And I put out a post earlier asking, does anybody have any questions regarding the show tonight? And I had one from Mr. Rob McGuire. Hey, Paul. At 28-21 with 7 games left till the SEC tourney, if the boys beat Tulane Tuesday and go 4-2 versus Georgia and Florida, is that enough you guys feel for an at-large or need to go deep in the tourney as well? Thank you, Mr. Rob, for the question. I think you need to go deep in the tourney no matter what. You said 4-2, I believe, right? Against Georgia and Florida. So I'm guessing you're saying a sweep against Florida, 1 against Georgia, or possibly winning 2 and 1 on each weekend. I have more confidence in this team being Florida at home in the box if the fans show up and do what they need to do to get this team moving than I do with them on the road. This year on the road is not a good – you're 3-10 on the road. So, in Georgia, I'm telling you, a scrappy team. Also, you got to think about it like this. We always talk about Jay Johnson and Mingione in Kentucky, and I always talk about how Jay has a leg up on Mingione. Wes Johnson was with this team in 23, and he knows the way Jay works. He knows the way Jay works. He knows the way Tucko works. He knows the way Wanaka works. He's going to be prepared for what Jay's going to try to do. Now, I believe in Jay to change things up how he needs to, get this team in a good position to win, but that's a factor. I'm not going to Yeah, it worked. It worked last weekend. I don't think at best you get 1 win against Georgia. At best, Georgia's a great team. Great team. Take care of business Tuesday against Tulane. And I think everybody's given the 13 win marker to get into the postseason for LSU. Now going 4-2 gets you into the 13 game marker. Say you go 2-4. You got 11 wins in conference. That means that's me saying you win the series against Florida and you get swept by Georgia. I'm sorry. But say you go 2-4, you're now 11-19 in the conference. You're going to need to get deep into the SEC tournament to get into postseason, contemplation. I think the number's 14. Some people are saying number's 13 to get into the NCAA tournament. I see the number at 14. Just because you have a team with a resume of 3 sweeps or getting swept 3 times, possibly a 4th time, and a few tough SEC series wins. South Carolina's not going to equate to that. Kentucky could possibly equate to that. So it's going to be tough. If they go 4-2, you're at 13 game conference record. Say you win 2, you're at 15. I think you get into the conversation. Then it's still you're a bubble team. You're a bubble team. I saw a graphic put out by Micah Butel today. As y'all can tell, I like following Micah Butel. Used to follow him. Great guy. He had LSU was one of the last 8 left out. So not the first 4 out, but within that next 4 out from the tournament as of today. You can change that, but it's going to take winning. You kind of need to go 4-2 over the next 6 games. You really need to go 5-2 over the next 6 games while beating Tulane to get there, and you still need to run into the SEC tournament, in my opinion. You're going to play on Tuesday. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're going to need to play on. You're going to play on Tuesday and single elimination. Boy, we talked about how we didn't care about the SEC tournament coming in this year, and boy, we care now. We care now. All right. We're going to get into some other news around LSU, and then we're going to get into the Pick to Click giveaways, as we always do. This weekend, where is it at? Ahmad Hudson from Ruston High, the number 11th ranked player in the 2027 class, committed to LSU over the weekend. I believe he was committed to another school. For some reason, Nebraska is coming to mind. So Lane was able to get him from that commitment and come to LSU. Shortly after that commitment, Lamar Brown put out a post saying, "What are you waiting on? Easton 3K, best in the boot stays in the boot." If you don't know Easton _3K is, that's Easton Royal, who right now I believe is currently committed to Texas, and they want him. So does Lane. I believe I saw a stat the other day that since coming to campus at LSU, he's signed 8 5-star players, and that's more than he ever had at Ole Miss. It's just different. It's just different. Then you look at a guy like Pop Houston putting out a tweet a few months ago. We sat in that recruiting section for the A&M game. We watched the ones who left. We remember who stayed. I promise y'all going to feel us. Y'all see why I keep pushing this villain era? Pop Houston gets it. No one believes in you. You believe in yourselves, and we're going to prove you wrong. That's what I mean by villain era. I don't condone going shaking buses. I know it's happened. We're better than that. We don't need to do all that. But these high school guys, I know Lamar Brown is on campus technically. He's at U High. He's going to be here in the summer, but Pop Houston sees it. Lamar Brown sees it. They're pushing Easton Royal to get to campus. Everything's changing around LSU at the moment. the Brian Kelly era, the Matt McMahon era is done. Maybe LSU baseball has the spark to get that swagger back at LSU. Lane's already got the swagger back to a point, but football season hasn't started. And there really wasn't much information coming out of spring because we didn't have a spring game. He doesn't believe we need them, and I tend to agree with him. Can LSU baseball flip a switch, make a run, and get some swagger back and let people know, hey, we may have been down this year. We're not out. Don't give up on these Tigers. It's the villain era for the Tigers. Love to see Easton Roll come to LSU. He is a phenomenal talent out of New Orleans. I'd love to see Easton Roll come to LSU. I'm happy to see Pop Houston and Lamar Brown doing what they need to do to recruit and get the best of the best here to campus. All right. Pick to click time. So we're going to go with the Warren Morris Maneri helmet. We have 3 people who have a chance of winning. That's Mr. DC Utah, Don Cannon, Scott Meyer, and Sarah. And people already starting to, make deals on the side, which, look, I don't know. All right, let's see it. Lucky dog, Mr. Don Cannon. You are the winner, sir. One more Mary helmet. Sorry to Sarah and Scott. Sorry for it. All right. Wheel 2 for the William Smith ball. We have Diamond LSU, Shy LSU, Sports Fan in Texas, Mr. Robbie Plaisance, and a newcomer to Pick to Click, Mr. Trey Hoppy. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I'm trying. Here we go. The winner is, for the newcomer, Mr. Trey Hop. Congratulations, young man or old man, wherever you are. Congratulations. Make sure you message me on X at the Paul Jarrett 16X. For those of you who have messaged me, I promise you I've seen them. Let me get to them. Work and life has been crazy lately. The prizes are coming. Congratulations on winning the William Smith ball, Mr. Trey Hop. Congratulations. All right. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything when it comes to stuff we have to cover. I don't believe we do have anything else to cover. No. All right. Before we go, Lemme Sourdough Bakery. I believe the pickup for this weekend is still available. Go get your orders in. I promise you. Go ask David, Zach, Jared, AP, all those guys. Anybody who's been around the tailgates, you don't want to miss out. That stuff is fire. I'm fat for a reason. Jesus One Apparel, 20% off with the code Walk It Off Talk. Go support local ministries. I'm telling you, the apparel is amazing. 15% of your orders with the code Walk It Off Talk go to the LSU FCA. I'm hoping to get a check to go donate here soon. We got to see how much has been raised through the code. And if you use code Walk It Off Talk, that's going to go straight to them. Straight to them. And I cannot wait to make that post when I go deliver that check. It's going to be amazing. Code Walk It Off Talk, 20% off at Jesus One Apparel. And the hoodies. If you ordered a hoodie, that's one thing I did forget. I put out a post saying, let me check that real quick. I put out a post saying, if you ordered a Jesus One hoodie, you'd be in the running for a $100 gift card to Jesus One Apparel. I don't think a ton of people went and put their receipts in. So I know people who bought a hoodie did not put their receipt in. So we had 3 people post their receipts. That was Ace for LSU, Miss Alexandra Maria, and Tiger Joker. So aside from pulling a name, because I didn't do that today, how about this? All of you get a $50 gift card to Jesus One Apparel. I'll get that to you hopefully by the end of the week. $50 gift card to Jesus One Apparel. I will send that to you guys as a thank you for supporting Jesus One Apparel, supporting the LSU FCA, and supporting me, even though I don't make any money from it. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, before I let you guys go, we're going to go over one more thing. Today's Bible verse we're going to end on today is Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. It kind of fits this upcoming couple series for LSU baseball. Don't fear the teams you're playing. I'm with you. You do everything in life, no matter what you're doing. Trust in God. Because remember, God loves you. All he wants you to do is love him back. God loves you. I love you. Pick to Click tomorrow will be out 2 hours prior to first pitch. And I haven't decided what I'm going to give away yet. Better watch the video and find out. Until next time, God loves you. I love you. Y'all have a great day. Go Tigers. And I'll see y'all later.